Greetings, creepy ones. Welcome to the Midnight Graveyard.
Welcome.
It's us, your favorite spooky sociopaths, here to talk about.
Speak for yourself.
Here to talk about Jay's most beloved movie,
Oh, Succubus.
Succubus 2024. So, viewers, get ready for something disgusting,
Yeah.
creepy, weird, and a little psychotic.
It is a strange one.
It is strange. All right, go ahead, big bones.
So it's my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, Succubus is like typically in folklore, mythology or whatever, like a female that sort of sucks the life force, drains the life force from a man, and I think uses sex a lot, is very
Yeah.
common, right? For sort of one of
Very
the ways,
sexualized.
right? Is the way that I kind of understood that, and so the movie surprised me a little bit because I expected that, but not. I guess the way they approached it was like I felt like a little different, and there were some surprises along the way, which was cool, and I enjoyed. I thought overall it was okay to good, not great, not bad, okay to good, and I'm like interested potentially in a second watch to see if I maybe missed some stuff, if it's potentially better than I realized the first viewing, because
Yeah.
it was good. Had some good acting, like Ron Perlman I enjoy, and yeah. What did you think?
I would not watch this again. It was only okay.
Yeah.
It was a more cringe and creepy than anything. Not very scary. Didn't spook me. Didn't make me jump at all. So that fear factor was at a 0. Very cringy, creepy. Made me wondering. It starts off in a different space than where the story actually ends up taking you, and I thought there were a lot of plot holes that were very unrealistic and frustrating. But I do think that maybe they were trying to do justice to the concept of a succubus and the sexualization of just that whole piece to men.
Right.
But they purposefully took a married man who was separated and wanting to get back with his wife and had an infant. And I thought that was very intentional to the story, and I don't know why, because it almost ruined the succubus concept for me, because it was like, oh, I'm just like, he starts jerking off in the bedroom.
Yeah, I think
where
it's
his kid is.
It's to underline,
Weird.
to show how like powerful her pull is.
Yeah.
That like even though he's got all these things going on, and we know that he does verbalize more than once, I think, his desire to get back together with his wife, right?
Yes, to
So,
her about, yeah.
Right, but honestly, even it seemed at one point in the beginning that was his intention and desire. So like it's to show, like, I think, right? That's what
I don't know.
assumed.
I could see that, but then I also felt like they were painting him to try to be like, oh, he's just a nice guy. But really, he was like a guy that was trying to have his actions excused by the people around him. Like, he just wanted to get laid. And
Yeah.
he was hoping
yeah.
his buddies and everybody would excuse his desires for not wanting to continue to have sex with his wife. But you're right. I think they were probably trying to paint a picture. I just don't think it came across well. I think that they could have done a better job at giving that story a better construct.
Okay. There was something clunky about his family dynamic. I'll give you that. I'm not sure
Yeah.
I could put my finger on exactly what it is either, but
And his relationship with his friend
yeah.
was also gross.
I mean, yeah, I think his friend was just like a dick.
Yeah.
You know?
And you are the company you keep, so if that's your bestie, you know.
Yeah, that says something too. Or that he's just like willing to sort of tolerate and accept whatever.
Yeah.
You know, which isn't much better.
Yeah. Exactly. I did like that it was, it was a modern succubus, so it was on an online dating app, and like, oh, are you a Russian bot? Like that whole play on things I thought was a clever way to spin it. And I really liked how when you finally realize that she is not who she says she is, it starts to unravel and you start to see her as a succubus in her form, in very creepy images, a few creepy scenes that I thought were really well done.
Yeah, but there was so little of that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think we could have done with more, and I don't usually say that about, like, special effects and all the, like, if I have a good story and good acting, you don't need, like, all the fancy stuff, really. So I'm not usually like, oh, more blood, because I just like that either. I know some people are like, oh, the more blood the better, horror fans.
Yeah.
Or weird sometimes. I'm weird, so, like, it's not a bad thing, but yeah, it was strange how much time they focused on like the lead up and the back and forth with him and her. It felt like it was a little bit maybe drawn out, and it was not very scary, that part. It was like upsetting and disturbing a little bit because of the family dynamic and his behavior, but it wasn't really like scary. Yeah.
No, it wasn't scary. It was cringy for most of it, and like gross, where you're like, okay, like I get it.
Yeah.
She's a succubus. She's luring you and trying to make you your most primitive self. But he also had shown things before he even connected with her, and so that's why I am like, I don't know. I feel like they just didn't tie the story together as well. And then I wish that when we did get we got glimpses of like, like the universe, what is it called, quantum physics. Like we saw articles and things that they just kind of like briefly passed by on the screen to allude to her existence and why Ron Perlman's character knew and was trying to prevent people from being drawn in, but we really didn't get much deeper into that. So it was like such a tease. Like, I wanted more then. Like, don't give me that if you're not going to tie it in somehow. I mean, I know that's a big ask, but, like, I definitely would have preferred more. It was just kind of like, okay, you're basically operating on this other plane of existence now when she sucks you in. And that's where you will stay. Yeah. If she puts you there. And I thought that's not necessarily tied to our succubus story. So like, I want more. Like, what is this?
Yeah. Well, and that was again the end, right? When like a lot of, I wonder if it was a brilliant, like a prequel, but just in order. You know what I mean? Like if they have another one in the books already, or if they are planning another one or something, because like I could see that,
and I would watch it.
And I would definitely go see it if they did a sequel. Yeah. Like because it sort of felt like we were leading up to this, like not an ending. It felt more like a peak of the story, the climax, and then.
Yeah,
it sort of ended with the ending was
his favorite movie.
Oh, it was horrifying. It was horrifying.
Do you want to expose it, or you don't want to?
He cuts himself off. He just cuts himself right off because he can't.
She's like inside.
Oh yeah, he can't help himself. She takes over, right? Basically, his body. He's using him like a puppet or whatever.
Yeah, and trying to spread his seed far and wide to spread pieces of herself, and yeah.
And then it gets worse from there.
Ugh. That piece was brutal. Like, very bizarre.
Well, go ahead, tell him. And he's catatonic, and they have taken at some point in the past. Who was it that you?
So he's catatonic now. He had kind of started off this way, got himself back, but basically didn't when he, injured himself. He ended up going back to a catatonic state, and the doctors could not reattach him, but they were able to save some of his specimen as his wife requested, so that if she wanted, she could have another child, but she did not want to. But thankfully, her bestie, whose husband was the best friend of the guy, the main character, that we said is a dickhead, he's already dead because he already fucked the succubus and was consumed by her. So this best friend is now going to carry the catatonic main character's child while he just exists in this awful state.
But it's the succubus, right?
But it's supposed to be like a blend of the succubus, like, because she attaches herself to him and then like spreads with him, and she supposedly continues to attach herself to others and spreads, is like the whole concept.
I see. Okay, so she could. I see. I think I understand. Oh yeah. So yeah, pretty. Bleh.
Yeah, gross. And then they're showing his mom. That was they're showing his mom the ultrasound.
Right. Well, yeah, because it doesn't. Yeah, but it's a great setup. It's a great setup for like. There's like a couple of directions they could go with it. I feel like, and if they do that, man, that's brilliant. It's worth seeing. In case they do a second one, because if they do, that'll be cool. It'll be really good, I think.
And the creepy scenes of the succubus at the end are worth seeing the movie for.
Oh, yeah.
I just wouldn't necessarily watch it again without there being a sequel.
Right.
Then I would. Otherwise, nah.
Probably not a rewatch for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I had said before that I was going to rewatch, but I'm not sure that I will. I probably won't, if I'm being honest. So, I am excited for 28 years later. I'm very excited for 28 years later. It's one of the first horror, franchises I sort of fell in love with. 28 Days was awesome and sort of kicked off. It was at the very beginning of like zombies being huge,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, maybe we'll be able to review it.
Oh, we definitely will review it. Absolutely. When the time comes.
So,
thanks
ladies,
for tuning in. Huh?
I said, so ladies,
Yeah.
get your succubus
Do I need to go?
vibes ready.
Excuse me.
Be ready to lure your men to their death and have them dismember themselves. Until next time.
Later.